Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we're going to be watching a video on Quizzette 714. Please make sure that you write your last name, comma, first name on your Quizzette. Please make sure you write the date. Today is November 6th, 2017. Today I'm going to say I'm in purple class. Monday number 1. This question can get very confusing. I even had a discussion with the first block today. So I want you to pay very close attention with how you multiply mixed fractions. Let me zoom it in just a little bit for you. We have -7 1/2 times 2 3/4. So what you do is you ignore the negative at first, and you just make that into an improper fraction. What is 2 times 7? 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. So you have 15 over 2, and it just so happens that it's negative, so you bring the negative in there. And you're multiplying that by 2 3/4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So you have 11 over 4, the same denominator. And you multiply straight across. 2 times 4, you already know that's 8. A negative times a positive is going to be negative. So you know that your numerator is going to be negative. And now you just have to multiply 15 by 11. And that is 165. All right, so that improper fraction looks great. But I want you to convert that into a decimal. So you have 8 divided into 165. And you know it's going to be negative, so you can put the answer on top. 8 goes into 16 2 times. 16 minus 16 is 0. Bring down the 5. 8 cannot go into 5. So you put a 0 up there, add your decimal, add another 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract that, you get 2. Bring the 0 down, just 2 decimal places. 8 goes into 20 2 times, and that's 16. And we can just stop there. So your answer is negative 20.62. The SMP you're using here is SMP 6. Attend to precision. All right, number 2. It says, which of these expressions have the same product? Select all that apply. So a positive times a negative is going to be negative. Again, on B, a positive times a negative is going to be negative. A positive times a negative is going to be negative. A positive times a negative is going to be negative. And a positive times a negative is going to be negative. So you know these are all going to be negative. So let's solve it. 14 times 5 times negative 5 is negative 70. 14 times negative 10 is negative 140. 7 times negative 20 is negative 140. 10 times negative 14 is negative 140. 2 times negative 35 is negative 70. All right. These 2 match and these 3 match. So we'll have A and E have the same product of negative 70. B, C, and D have the same product of negative 140. Perfect. Now the SMP you're using is you're looking for patterns. So that's SMP 8. Go ahead and write the quote right there, looking at your label on your desk. Number 3. Suppose there is a 1.1 degree Fahrenheit drop in temperature for every 1,000 feet that an airplane climbs into the sky. All right, let's annotate that. 1.1 degree drop for every 1,000 feet an airplane climbs into the sky. So your unit rate is already given to you, or not your unit rate, but your first ratio. So you have 1.1 degrees Fahrenheit, and you know it's negative because it has that keyword drop. To 1 11,000 feet. Let's keep reading. If the temperature on the ground is 59.7 degrees Fahrenheit, what will be the temperature when the plane reaches an altitude of 11,000 feet? It's supposed to be written with 3 zeros, not just 2. 11,000 feet. All right, so your second ratio, they give you a piece. They give you the amount of feet, but you're trying to find the degrees in altitude that you decrease in 11,000 feet. So let me explain this question. You have an airplane, and it's at the ground. And on the ground, it is 59.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's say that we're leaving from the San Bernardino airport that's across the street or down the street. And it's 59.7 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Well, when the plane takes off, every 1,000 feet that it goes up into the sky, it's getting colder and colder by 1.1 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're subtracting every 1,000 feet, you're subtracting 1.1. And then you go to 2,000, you subtract another 1.1, and so on and so forth. Repeated subtraction can also be considered multiplication. So we would multiply 1,000 by 11. And if we multiply 1,000 by 11, we would multiply our degrees Fahrenheit by 11 as well. Sorry for that interruption. So since we multiplied 1,000 by 11, we're going to do the same for the degrees Fahrenheit times 11. Oops, wrong thing. Times 11. Now 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. Put a placeholder, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. Add those two together. You get 12.1, you have 1 decimal place. And remember that it's negative. So now you subtract the amount of degrees that you have by the degrees that it was initially. 7 minus 1 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. 5 minus 1 is 4 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so here you would write the sentence. I don't have room, so you're going to have to write it. The sentence is, the temperature of the airplane decreases to 47.6 degrees Fahrenheit at an altitude of 11,000. So the temperature of the airplane decreases to 47.6 degrees Fahrenheit at an altitude of 11,000 feet. Here the SMP that you're using is SMP2, reason abstractly and quantitatively. All right, Tigers, have a good week, and I wish you the best on this Quizzette.